Buenos días por la mañana. Yo soy Pion y este es tu canal de Online en Español. Un canal creado con y para la comunidad hispana. Bueno, señores, hoy tenemos una entrevista interesante porque es la primera vez que vamos a entrevistar a un líder de un bloque. And hello, Noraus. How are you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me here today. I'm good.
Thank you very much, Noraus, for accept our invitation. Then, I'm going to talk in Spanish for all the Spanish community, and Draenor going to help us doing the translation to Noraus. Ok, vamos a empezar. Como una introducción, por favor, Noraus, ¿nos podrías dar cuál es tu visión de EVE Online y qué papel juega Fraternity dentro de EVE Online?
As an introduction, Noraus, can you give us an overview about what EVE Online is about and what role Fraternity plays in EVE Online community?
Sure. So from my perspective, EVE Online, apart from what CCP promotes, it's foremost a simulator of the real social interactions where player groups compete against each other using the in-game mechanics. And in our case, Fraternity, we are the top 3 player organization in the game, with the, I believe, the most diverse player base. So we operate mainly in the nullsec space, where we have liberty to tailor our own game styles.
Okay.
Okay, then do you want to do a question, Draenor?
No.
Ok, entonces vamos con lo que es la historia personal y la experiencia en EVE Online de Noraus. ¿Cómo y cuándo comenzaste a jugar EVE Online y qué fue lo que inicialmente te atrajo hacia el juego?
Right now, we are going to go for your personal experience in the game, Noraus, and he's asking what your experience is in the game and what attracted you to this game.
Yeah, I believe I started when I was in high school, introduced the game by a schoolmate. I tried it briefly. It was a brief tasting before I had to focus on college, and then I joined back more regularly after BTEC the Titan Clash.
Yeah.
I believe I always fancy the sci-fi elements, and particularly drawn to galaxies and stars and all that. My only A grade was in college was from astronomy.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. Una cuestión, en tu trayectoria dentro de EVE, ¿qué te llevó a convertirte en el líder de Fraternity?
One thing, in your trajectory, what led you to be the leadership of Frat, the executor?
Well, the leadership position is never easy, and the sheer pressure on this role has forced my president to retire, and especially when an alliance was defeated. So FRT, we were defeated as a vassal state under N3. It was Northern Coalition, Naliscuda, and Nexus 2. We were on the run, abandoned to ourselves, and our former leaders decided to focus on real life at that time, which nobody can blame, right? But it was either me or no one, and if that's the case, FRT would have been dead. So I took the mantle. We were a Chinese language-based entity. Most of us only speak Chinese, no other language. So, and Fraternity was the only one at that time. If FRT died, those players would have no place or a pretty hard experience to experience. A pretty hard time to experience EVE tranquility.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I chose to stay and then start to lead the FRT.
Okay, then we're going to move. Entonces nos vamos a mover a lo que es la política, las guerras y la diplomacia. No, perdón. Nos vamos a ir primero a gestión y liderazgo. Gestión y liderazgo. Vale, entonces,
Okay.
liderar una alianza tan grande como Fraternity es un desafío, sin duda. ¿Cuál es la mayor dificultad que enfrentas en tu rol?
Leading a large alliance like Frat must be challenging. What are the most difficult you face in your role?
Well, I believe every alliance is NOSEC particularly face more or less the same issue, and that is time constraints, I would say. So if I have to attend every issues within Winterco, happens here and there, it would have at least took me half a day every day. The worst part, is these issues won't stop multiplying ever at
Yeah.
all as your alliance grow more complex. So at our scales, particularly, well, we operate at the same size as a small business in real life, but we lack the tool and fund or the incentive to maintain our magnitude. And we hope CCP would provide such supports by giving us more tools, more in-game tools, but it seems they are also kind of understaffed to deliver.
Yeah.
So I believe that's the most challenging part for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ok. Sí, cuando se están manejando operaciones a gran escala, ¿cómo consigues tú mantener la comunicación con toda Fraternity? ¿Es eso un problema?
How do you manage coordination among fraternity during large-scale operations?
I believe I believe you mean large fleet flights, right?
I think so. Dice que si hablas de grandes peleas, más que de operaciones.
Más que grandes peleas, cuando hay una guerra a gran escala, donde están pasando muchísimas cosas a la misma vez, ¿cómo consigues mantener esa comunicación? ¿O se crea el caos?
He means more like in a war coordination effort, not a single battle, but more organizing a war effort.
I am thinking about that when. Sorry for my don't acknowledgement about the big leadership, but my question is, when you have a big war like World War B2 or like the War of B3 are happening many events at the same time, and you are only one guy, and you have a lot of leaders doing many things. How you can control that? There is the chaos in this situation.
Okay, yeah, sure. I believe before 2014, it was mostly Skype. It was mostly Skype for the older generation of EVE Online players. So whenever they have a scheme, they plan around wars. They will have group chats on Skype, and then they build their own like TS server. There wasn't a Mumble server, I believe. Probably MRON. But yeah, mostly before Discord ever happens, it was just Skype and even real life social meetups where people plan the wars. But with the introduction for Discord, and I personally have maybe over 50 Discord servers. And for example, if you want to talk about World War B2, we have 3 different Discord servers, like specifically for this war. From different layers, we have diplomacy channel, we have channels for FCs, we have channel for infrastructures and logistics behind those, and basically everything goes on. I can stay logged off from EVE Online for weeks or even months as long as keep a line with Discord. That's how I pull the strings for Fraternity, also for Fraternity in times of war. And if you talk about like a single battle, then more than EVE at our scales, we had seen players stacking 1,000, maybe 2,000 characters into one fight regularly nowadays. So which means it's going to be 6 to 7 fleets in total. And every fleet will need at least one commander, right? Minimum. So that's like 2 or 3 different layers of voice channels each of these fleet commanders needs to present. As much as I love FC myself, I find myself most effective coordinating multiple fleets, but let the others to handle the actual game commands. Yeah,
It's very
and also
interesting.
we also have to build our own. We also have to build our own voice server because Discord cannot just host that many individuals.
Yeah.
It's part of the executive costs, like come along with the large organizations.
Yeah.
Es interesante ver esto a esa escala. En las organizaciones ocurren muchos problemas internos donde hay enfrentamientos de egos, de personalidades, muchas disputas. ¿Tú tienes alguna estrategia de liderazgo específica para mantener la alianza unida y efectiva?
In large organizations, there's a lot of ego battles against each other and troubles between members. Do you have any leadership strategy to keep the people united and effective?
Yes, of course. My favorite topic: internal dramas. Of course, every organization.
Sorry, but our channel is dedicated to internal drama.
I just came out from the leadership channel.
I read that channel every day, just in case.
Then what is your strategy?
I actually just came out from the leader members mate, but whatever. I believe a leader in Eve. I mean, maybe you don't want to hear about that, but I believe a leader should be compassionate and impartial. So this is not
Your audio muted, Noraus.
a place. If we all agree with that, based on this very belief and goal, we try to be the most transparent of decision making process, this procedure, and the policies thereafter. So I have punished people harshly, right, according to the rules we made.
I know.
But
I know from that.
yes, but I will never mandate a rule that I feel unjust. So the rules are for everybody there, and we also take considerations for those are in need. That's where that's where the compassion sets in, right? I believe, a leader should be both.
Este punto es muy interesante y voy a hacer una pequeña nota en español. Lo que nos está diciendo es que tiene que haber una gestión transparente, tiene que ser firme cuando tiene que castigar a alguien, porque tiene que castigar a gente sin duda, y que hay que ser compasivo con los jugadores cuando es necesario ser compasivo. Es decir, que hay que entender y ser justo a los jugadores. Ok. ¿Es correcto?
Exacto.
Un mensaje para todos nuestros CEOs. Vamos a continuar con política, guerra y diplomacia. Fraternity logró una gran victoria contra B3. Eso fue espectacular. Yo jugaba allí y lo disfruté desde muchos puntos de vista. ¿Cómo se vivió esta guerra desde el liderazgo de Fraternity? ¿Y alguna vez temiste por la integridad de la alianza, por la integridad de Fraternity?
Fraternity achieved a great victory against B3 during the war in the North. How was this war for Fraternity leadership, and did you ever fear for the alliance integrity during that war?
Okay. Well, no, actually, we have never had a losing turn. So from the beginning of this war, there's no way for us to lose because B3 would never be able to push us back or kick us out from NOSEC, right? But it's not a grand victory. It's not like you saying this like suppose we have a great victory after heroic battles. It's not like that. It's a calculated year-long campaign, right? That eventually dragged in all of the other blocks out of their own interests, of course. Fraternity simply fulfilled my victory terms at the end of that war. That's all. I could either handshot B3 Capital, DO6H by the time, or we have to endure a prolonged war. Well, our handshot attempt was failed because we miscalculated the Brave. We never thought they would join their side.
Yeah,
Sure.
I know.
But
Yeah.
eventually we win because our economy, our strategy simply made us a better block than B3. B3 is never a true block. They joined the wrong league in this fight. If you think of it, Brave, Fnatic, Legion, even Vota, they have found their places right now. Brave, I don't. I mean, Vota back to the small game, and Brave and Fnatic Legion are now a vassal within the Imperium. I don't mean to be condescending, but I believe those plays they're better off in those plays under the wing of a mega block instead of creating their own.
I agree with you until some point. I prefer Brave to be an independent because at least when I was in it, we have a lot of fun fighting against them and doing blobs in pure blind. But yeah, I agree with you about the victory.
Interesting. Very,
Being
very,
independent
very
would take.
Ok, otro punto interesante es que todos sabemos cómo terminó la Segunda Guerra de las abejas. Y no vamos a meternos en ese tema. Pero sí me gustaría saber el papel que jugó Fraternity en esta guerra y por qué, si aparentemente estabas en el lado perdedor, saliste muy fortalecido de esa guerra.
Okay. We all know how World War B2 ended. What role play Pratt in that war? And even we Winterco were in the losing side. How did we came out stronger?
Well, do you really believe we were on the losing side, though? We took the chance to dethrone Imperium, or Boomsworm, as the top alliance in EVE Online. I would say, in long term, at this point, Horde is able to compete against Goonsworm one-on-one, right? Which already made Horde the #1 victor from World War B2. Think of how many members Horde is able to absorb after World War B2. Right? We came out strong. Fraternity or Winterco came out stronger because we decided to leave John region. We traded Oasa and Paragon 4 for, I believe, Brangentino. We decided to move on to Way of Silence on our own and take the risk of being so, right? So our gamble only paid off because our leadership has been more experienced. We played a long time. We have seen this all. We deal with all the issues coming after our move to Way of Silence correctly. That's why we came out stronger.
Very interesting.
War B2 just happened at a convenient timing where there's the least amount of resistance for us to settle into Way of Silence.
Okay. Very interesting. Some comment, Draenor?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Ok, entonces, a mí me gusta mucho, yo soy un fanático de los mapas y seguir los mapas y ver cómo evolucionan las coaliciones y las corporaciones. En mapa de coaliciones, nosotros vemos ahora que ha aparecido un bloque que se conoce como Pandafam.
Pandafam.
Perdón, Pandafam. Gracias, thank you, Pandafam. ¿Consideras que esta coalición es real? ¿Nosotros somos realmente un bloque con Pandemic Order?
He really enjoys the maps, the map thing, and he want to know if you think that in the daily soft maps, the entity of Pandafam it's a real block, and if we are a block with pandemic, or it's just temporary.
I wouldn't say it's temporary, but I don't see a definite term that I can see up right now. Drone regions, all the drone region alliances, they share one centralized market, right? One super cap umbrella and one single defensive obligation. They have their own border. Those made them a true coalition, whatever they say about it, right?
Okay.
We, on the other hand, we're as close as two entities that can get. Winterco and Pandafam, we share our intel coordination system. We have a very intimate economic relationship, and we share a pretty long border together.
Yeah.
But our commanding structures are separate, right? We have our own focused front sometimes. I need to focus on pure blind, and they have to do that for instant motor. Those are different. So I wouldn't say we are one single coalition, but we are as close as we can get.
Okay, it's clear, crystalline. Bueno, vamos al impacto de la expansión de Equinox. ¿Okay? La reciente expansión ha tenido varios cambios significativos en el juego. ¿Cómo tú crees que estos cambios afectarán el equilibrio dentro de EVE Online, especialmente para las organizaciones grandes como Fraternity?
Okay, with the new expansion of Equinox, it brings a lot of changes about power balance for the universe. How do you think it's going to affect large alliances like Frat?
I mean, we will be fine. CCP's intention, they're clearly, undoubtedly, want to dismantle our larger blocks. Equinox would nerf, right? Would nerf us, not buff us. They would nerf the average nullsec space. That is for sure. However, their developed team, they couldn't possibly think through all the workarounds tens of thousands nullsec players would come up with. For example, if under the new system, several constellations in Way of Sight will be completely shit to live in, we would just evacuate, repurpose the area. We move to somewhere else. We move to a branch. We move to tribute. Regardless, we will be able to optimize simply due to our manpower and the fact that we have vast space. That's the power coming from the numbers. It's also the only rewards we get for dealing with the shitty internal dramas. But if it happens to a small or a medium scale alliance, if they found their home turned to a wasteland, they will die, or they will be absorbed. They can choose ignore, right? That's counterproductive. I don't think CCP intends to do so, but their change would just result in such.
Okay. I believe that they are trying to make big alliances fight for appropriate space.
Right. It's just like a scarcity will create conflicts, right? How did that go?
I don't think they are going to do. They are not going to get their goal, because, as you say, we will walk around and do our own thing. So.
Okay, nice. Is okay for this point, or you want to add something, Noraus or Draenor?
Me, no.
It's okay.
I don't know if Noraus. Okay.
Entonces, relacionado con este punto o no, ¿qué ocurrió en Cash? ¿Es solo una escaramuza o esto indica algo más grande?
Related with this point, what happened in Catch? It was just a skirmish of is the signal of something bigger, or kind of a preview of a bigger confrontation.
Yeah. Catch is definitely more fierce than a single skirmish. It's more like a deployment, like a raid for us. We were able to erase several regions economically from the competitors. We do that with the minimum costs. But later on, the power balance shifted. Goons were moved their stager, they moved their super caps, so that if we wanted to maintain our stance, we will have to invest a ton of more. That is when Horde and us we decided to pull out. But I would say Horde even made up with more ally population in the end. So that's also a great victory for them.
Well, Brad may too, because some small alliances corps joined Brad. And
We did. But mostly I just enjoying a good banting for Jakaras. I love erase their rental income. And
I know, but
very personally for me. I know. But it's
you
also
know,
content.
you know, Asher denies they have renters. You know.
They do. I mean, they do. They actually do. Bluntly, they do rental.
Ok. Y por último, para cerrar este tópico de Equinox, ¿cuáles son los planes para las alianzas pequeñas en Winter Cup relacionados con esta nueva expansión? En cuanto a soberanía, en cuanto a ese tipo de puntos.
Okay. To end about the new expansion, what are the plans for smaller alliances in Winter Cup for the expansion about sub and that kind of stuff? Sub by sovereignty, not about the Sons of Pain.
Yeah. We had executive meetings a couple months ago, and I believe our member alliances, first of all, they are not technically small, right? I believe they can design their space to their own like. I'm not worried at all. But Fraternity will provide necessary support wherever they feel needed. But Fraternity will not overstep their decision.
Okay.
Like Taz and Siberian Squad, they have their own plan for Declan. I know SLB and Novitial, you have your own plans for Germinate. Caladrus have their own plan for their branch space. Things like that.
Yep.
Ok, vamos entonces a pasar a los planes futuros dentro de Fraternity. ¿Cuáles son los planes futuros de Fraternity? Claro, los que nos puedas compartir. ¿Tienes objetivos específicos para la alianza que busques a largo plazo?
About future plans, Fraterniy have any future plans that you can share with us, or any specific goals to achieve in the long term?
Well, lots of difficulties is never easy, right? And we have an obvious advantage being the biggest Chinese-speaking community, which allows us unique privileges in terms of time zone, in terms of staff defense, and all that. But I've always wanted, I've always am Fraternity to make our other time zone on par with the other blocks. Where I'm talking about Horde and Gunswarm initiative nowadays. Personally, if Frat could, function more automatically without my direct attention, it would also be a great relief to myself. But I would just be very happy if EU time zone, US time zone, will be able to compete against other blocks on their own. Yep.
Nice.
Okay.
Vamos a algo un poco más terrenal. ¿Qué necesita una alianza para unirse a Winter Cup?
Let's go to a more easy level. What an alliance need to join Winter Coalition?
I mean, at this point, you have to be a very big alliance. I mean, you have to be a well-known alliance. Gunswarm, they literally just expanded 3 regions and a half. They requested Immensia, West Tenerife, Catch, and Impulse, simply to house their allies. Right? I don't think I have any plan to expand territory. So if more alliances come in, you have to be big and competitive already.
Okay.
Ok, nice. ¿Cómo tú ves el futuro de EVE Online en general? ¿Y crees que el juego va a continuar en una dirección correcta? ¿Te parece correcta la dirección que lleva el juego?
How do you see the future of EVE Online, and do you believe that the game is evolving in the right direction?
I think CCP, if they like, they will always have our support, and I feel like they need it. Right? Historically, some of their balances have years of impact to recover. I'm talking about blackout, talking about Roku-driven scarcity, Citadel spams. If you play long enough, you can name a few.
Yeah.
I think EVE Online will live on for the better or worse regardless. And because CCP is making profit, I read their reports. Their mother company in Korea is making profit. There isn't a decisive urgency, a push internally for CCP to make drastic changes in game. Right. Most important, there's just no other game like EVE at all. We can criticize however we like it, but in the end, there's no other place like this. And that's solely because our player base is made it unique. So I think whatever CCP is going to do, they should consult and respect the players' opinion. Yeah, that's going to be the best scenario I can think of.
Ok.
CSM's doing a great job at this, by the way. CSM, this term is 12 people, and soon in September, they're going to announce the election. So CSM has continuously doing a fantastic job.
I know.
Correcting, yeah, delivering our voices, correcting mistakes. Yeah.
Luke are doing great in that. I know.
Right. Yes.
Ok, nice. Bueno, la comunidad hispana dentro de Fraternity se hace llamar a sí misma Winter Hispano. ¿Qué visión nos darías, tendrías tú para nosotros y qué consejos nos puedes dar para que podamos avanzar dentro de tu organización como grupo hispano?
The Spanish-speaking community within Winterco is called themselves Winter Hispano. What are your vision about that community, and do you have any advice for us to advance within Winterco?
I always love your community. I think Hispanic community is a thriving and a very enthusiastic one. I believe you can be a strong partner within Winter, and I think for your continuous growth, you will need to learn about peacefully living among each other. Right? I've heard some previous dramas, but I'm not sure about that. And the community leaders, I don't know, the community leaders, in a way, you guys are managing a mini alliance within FRT. So whatever I said about the important parts, qualities, also apply to you guys. I do hope that one day you can be one of the deciding factors within Winter.
I hope so. I hope so too.
Me too.
Right.
Me too. Bueno, vamos a entrar en las conclusiones. Y para concluir tengo dos preguntas. ¿Qué consejo darías a los jugadores más nuevos que aspiran a una posición de liderazgo o que quieren ser parte de una gran del leadership de una gran alianza en EVE Online?
What advice would you give to newer players which aspire to a leader position within an alliance or a big alliance in EVE?
Don't. I mean, well, playing online. Playing EVE Online, it's totally one of the must tries, right? If you play game at all. But leadership position isn't just for everyone's taste because it comes with tolls, heavy tolls. Well, I think I personally grew out a better person from EVE Online, considering I was only 18, and now that's I turned to 13-1 this year. So if you want to try leadership position, prepare yourself for the burden. It's not going to be very pleasant, but it's very accomplished. It has a sense of accomplishment to get in with it.
Okay.
Ok, nice. Y para finalizar, ¿tienes algún mensaje que te gustaría enviar a toda la comunidad de EVE Online sin importar alianza o facción?
to end the interview, do you have any message you want to send to EVE players, regardless of the alliance or faction that they are in?
Right. I mean, don't hate us. If you hate us just because you fear us, it's written in our alliance bullet. Um, for those older players, for the boomers, I have nothing but gratitude that we once shared this game together. Right? Doesn't matter of our factions at all. We are already a minority in gaming, and for those newer players, for those newer ones, I find the millennial generation they come with some drastically differences from us. I hope I hope to see what these new bloods can bring us, what they can change about this game. So, do you know the average age for EVE Online players per CCP is 43. This number will get smaller every year. So when you guys become the main player base, I would hope that EVE will be a much different game, a much better one.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
was very nice interview, in my opinion. If you have something to edit, Draenor or Noraus, is now because I'm going to close the interview.
For me, it's fine.
I'm fine.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Then thank you very much for be with us. I go for my coffee and see you soon.